Into A to Z Sports prime time on a Wednesday night, NFL Draft Eve. Welcome in. The last show we will do until the Tennessee Titans have made a selection. We will be talking so much about the Titans over the course of the next couple of days. I think it's time to look at the rest of the NFL draft because the 49ers, we seem to think that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch can do no wrong. But the stupidity as of late has been mind-boggling to me. So tonight we're going to talk about how the Niners and their incompetence may be the ones to screw up the NFL draft order. We'll spend some time on what Atlanta is going to do at 4. By the way, if you did not know, because I announced this earlier today, Arthur Smith, the Falcons head coach and former Titans offensive coordinator, will be on my radio show next week. So we will talk to Art about who they ended up selecting. But in the meantime, we're going to talk about who they would pick between Kyle Pitts and Justin Fields, assuming that he is available to them. The Teddy Bridgewater trade today picked up some headlines, and I think there will be a tangible effect of the Bridgewater trade on the NFL draft. So we'll spend some time on that as well. All things NFL draft before we turn our attention totally to the Titans for the next 3 days tonight on the Primetime Show. Before we get off and rolling, though, you need to invite your friends to come hang out with us. You need to share this show across the social media platforms, on Facebook Live, on Periscope, on YouTube, and on Twitch, if you would be so kind. If you're with us on YouTube or Twitch, you can get the share link. You can text it to a friend. You can email it to a friend. You can tweet it to a friend. You can do whatever you want with the link. Just share it with somebody. That's all that I ask of you. If you're with us on Periscope, you can retweet the show in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. I have already done so, so I invite you to do so as well. Retweet the show in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, and we'll get your Periscope peeps involved there. If you're with us on Facebook Live, of course, it is quite simple. You share now to public. That's how the good folks get going tonight on A to Z Sports Prime Time. A lot to discuss, a lot to get into, and all things NFL Draft. Now that more of you are here, we can begin the show officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time on a Wednesday on NFL Draft Eve from the DraftKings Sportsbook Studios. I'm your host, Buck Rising, and I am proud, as always, to be presented to you by Two Rivers Ford, the name that you know, the brand that you trust since 1983. If you're like me, you want to work with local businesses now more than ever. Two Rivers Ford has a proven formula, a tried and true award-winning sales and service department, and incredible staff when you go out and visit them in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, the top of the top of the top, just like the crown that you see behind me. I'm wearing my crown off to the side. DraftKings Sportsbook will get you going with incredible betting abilities, prop bets for the NFL Draft. Go check them out. We already have put out our A to Z Sports Best Bet, which I'll tell you more about later on in the show. The Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage at GaryAshton.com. That's where you go for satisfaction guaranteed on each and every one. On your dream address without the stress, or if you are looking to sell your home, you can sell for more with Gary Ashton at GaryAshton.com. And of course, Brymac Mechanical is where you go for satisfaction guaranteed on each and every one of your HVAC needs. As I mentioned, residential, commercial, Brymac's got you covered. BRYMAK. That's Brymac.com. All right, so NFL Draft Eve, the next couple of days. By the way, A to Z Sports draft show going to be a lot of fun. Myself, Austin Stanley, Zach Bingham will all be together. I'll have to jump off at some point to talk to the first-round pick on a Zoom call. But in the meantime, we'll have a great time on Thursday and Friday, the three of us, and we're looking forward to doing that together, so don't miss out. But what is going to happen? We'll spend the next 2 days for certain locked in on all things Titans, but the rest of the NFL is a shit show right now. It's incredible to watch what's going on in the news cycle. The 49ers traded up to get the third overall selection. They traded up and the Dolphins traded back. As a result, they think, their quarterback, and they're going to focus on equipping more weapons around Tua Tagovailoa. So everyone assumed, and it was widely reported, that the Niners were comfortable with Mac Jones, the Alabama quarterback, with the 3rd overall selection. And for the past month and a half, since Alabama's pro day, all of us, anybody who has watched anybody who has watched college football and who thinks they reasonably understand Kyle Shanahan's level of intelligence is looking at Kyle Shanahan and saying, what the hell are you doing with Mac Jones? There are at least 2 other options in this draft that are superior to Mac Jones. If you are capable of above average coaching, one would think that you would be able to find a way to better succeed with a higher quality of talent. But still, the Mac Jones storyline persisted. And then today, or over the last day and a half, Adam Schefter has been doing some reporting on the 49ers. And it is so stupid what appears to be going on in San Francisco. But first, we'll start with the Two Rivers Ford take. What quarterback are the 49ers going to select 2nd overall? You know the top 5. You know that Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson are going to be gone. Out of the 3 who remain, Mac Jones, Justin Fields, Trey Lance. Who will the 49ers select with the 3rd overall selection? Let me know in the comments on Facebook Live, Periscope, YouTube, and Twitch TV. We will react to it together here on A to Z Sports Prime Time right after I tell you about the fine folks at Two Rivers Ford who present the take each and every night. Car Care Month, 2 days left to go save 10% off your service at Two Rivers Ford when you take your vehicle out to their award-winning service department. 14 years they have won the Ford President's Award for exceptional customer service. That means that not only are people happy when they purchase a car from Two Rivers Ford, but they're happy when they receive this award-winning service that Two Rivers Ford has become famous for. Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com. Go to tworiversford.com, by the way. Get your coupon for 10% off. Screenshot it, save it to your Apple Wallet. Do what you got to do. And just show it to them. They'll hook you up at tworiversford.com. Which quarterback are the 49ers going to take? Chris Stress says one more sleep until the NFL draft. I know. I'm so excited to actually get this thing underway. Terrence Gallagher says, Buck, my man. What's up, Terrence? It's good to see you. Brad Lipford. Lovely to see everybody in the comments all across the social media platforms tonight. What's Buck? What's Buck? Are we going to have another wild show? LOL, says Chris. I hope so, Chris. Last night was a lot of fun. Joe says, hey, Buck, serious question. Are y'all not uploading to iTunes podcast anymore? There hadn't been a new show since Monday. So about that, because we have had several people reach out about that, and I would like to, I'll address that quickly, Joe. So producer Reed, who is working through some stuff on the family side of things, he needed a little bit of vacation time to check in on his brother, and we're going to respect Reed's privacy. If he he has a Twitter account, he can share information with you as he sees fit. But producer Reed has been responsible for both the Morning Show's podcast, of the live stream show, and of mine. And at this point, we let it fall through the cracks. So that's on Austin, Zach, and myself, because we do have a staff of about 16 people, and we just simply forgot to delegate that to somebody. So we apologize for those of you who listen back to the show via Apple Podcast. But producer Reed has been out, and we wish the Besh family, Reed's brother in particular, all the best. And producer Reed will be back tomorrow night. I hope so. I need to double check and make sure that everything's good with Reed and his family. But that is the explanation for why Apple Podcast has not had the live stream shows podcasted immediately after the show. In the meantime, Dustin Benton says, Buck, why does the 3 hours on radio go by so fast? Thanks for keeping rocking as I mow lawns each day. Well, thank you, Dustin. I appreciate you listening as you mow those lawns. We have a great time on the radio show, and we have a great time on the primetime show, and we have a great time on the 615 Sessions podcast. So, Mac Jones video, have a tonsil effect on him, says John London. I have not seen a Mac Jones video that is comparable to Laramie Tunsil, because I assume you're talking about the gas mask, with Laramie Tunsil, and I assume I would have seen something like that to that degree. In the meantime, let me know on Facebook Live, Periscope, YouTube, and Twitch which quarterback the 49ers will take third overall. Sawyer says Mac Jones. Chris Frazier agrees. John London says Trey Lance. Rob Smith says, Buck, when are you coming back to Evansville? Never. I hate that place. I'm never going back. Jeff Rubel, except to see my parents. Jeff Rubel says, I'm still saying Fields. One would hope. Bavin says they should pick Lance. Third overall is Mac Jones, according to Clayton. John Carlo says should be Fields, but they'll take Lance. Ronnie Sneed says Mac Jones doesn't move the radar for me. Point blank, not point black, point blank, period. And I feel it's not that he doesn't move the needle for me. I think Mac Jones is going to have a fine professional career. If he lands in a spot that allows him to excel, he would succeed in San Francisco without question. I just think that the talent level, the potential for Trey Lance is much higher. We know Justin Fields is a far superior player at the position and a far better athlete at this point. So the obsession with Mac Jones by the 49ers simply hasn't made sense. But to me, what makes even less sense is what Adam Schefter was reporting as early as this morning about the 49ers really not knowing what the hell's going on right now.
And as much as the 49ers love Mac Jones, and they do, I believe that the gap between Mac Jones and the other quarterbacks like Trey Lance has been narrowed considerably to the point where over the weekend, the organization was really going back and forth on all these quarterbacks and trying to decide what to do. And I know there are people who say, well, you don't trade up to number 3 and give up what the 49ers did without knowing who you will take. I can tell you over the weekend, they did not know who they were going to take. But I can also tell you that the initial plan was that they were good taking Mac Jones. And that was why they traded up to 3, because they were always comfortable going to that quarterback. But Trey Lance has been so impressive. He is considered the smartest quarterback in this draft, the smartest, and maybe ready to play a lot sooner than people think. And I think that's one of the reasons the 49ers are struggling with that decision.
So what Schefter is saying there is that the 49ers, and largely he has considered Trey Lance, and this is new information based on everything that I've been able to find, that Trey Lance is the smartest. I don't know if that means processing. I don't know if that means just straight up intelligence. I don't know if that means like by IQ points that Trey Lance is smarter, but Adam Schefter is reporting that Trey Lance is considered to be the smartest quarterback in this class, and that Kyle Shanahan, it has narrowed the gap. But also there are reports coming out from the 49ers that Kyle Shanahan and the scouting staff are in conflict about the players that they should be picking at third overall, which is insane to me. It's a nightmare to have your coach get in the way of the scouting staff, given what the scouting staff is supposed to do. Now, it's not like the coach shouldn't have any say-so, shouldn't have any influence on the process. Mike Vrabel was very much involved, specifically with the drafting of Jeffrey Simmons. That was Vrabel's pick from the jump. Of course, there was very little pushback, none at all, from John Robinson and the scouting staff, given what Jeffrey Simmons' talent level is. But what you see happening with Kyle Shanahan right now is a coach who is in conflict with his GM's staff. And this is a problem because now the gap has narrowed. But who is narrowing the gap between Mac Jones and Trey Lance? Reportedly, it is between those two and not Justin Fields. Still inexplicable to me. I'll tell you who I think they're going to end up selecting here in just a second, right after I tell you about our friends at DraftKings Sportsbook. Now, Jack Gentry, who does a great job, and Jack will be on the radio show tomorrow. Jack does a spectacular job with our best bets, courtesy of DraftKings. Right now, if you sign up today with code A to Z Sports, you get a 20% deposit bonus up to $1,000 on DraftKings Sportsbook. Now, Jack's bets are 10-2 right now, and he has selected the Titans to draft a wide receiver with their first-round pick plus 225. So go get a 20% deposit bonus up to $1,000 using the promo code A to Z Sports. And if you so choose to be a part of the DraftKings best bets that are currently 10-2 so far this year. You will get involved with the Titans drafting a wide receiver in the first round at plus 225. Now, I don't bet on Titans games because I'm a Titans reporter, but I do bet on the NFL draft. And I will give you a little bit of, again, here's what I'll say to you. Promo code A to Z Sports in the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Here's what I'll say to you, okay? We have talked at great length about the idea that draft rumors largely should be ignored for all of the same reasons that we're talking about the Niners being a disaster. But what I would say to you is that I, as a reporter, am going to bet on the Titans plus 225 to take a wide receiver with their first overall pick. That's all I will say to you. I will not spread rumors that I'm hearing. All I will say, that's the closest to a hint that I'm going to drop. I'm going to bet on the Titans to draft a wide receiver plus 225. We'll see how it goes. I could be dead wrong. I could lose money, and at least there will be a punishment for it. But I'm not telling you how to spend your money. I'm just telling you where I am going to bet my money, given what's currently being discussed at this point around Titans circles. Keep that in mind. DraftKings Sportsbook promo code A to Z Sports. Mac is college history most accurate passer, Buck, LOL. He broke Joe Burrow's record without Chase Jefferson and Clyde. Listen, you can't say without Chase Jefferson and Clyde and ignore the fact that Mac Jones has a couple of offensive linemen who are going to go in the first round, a couple of wide receivers who are going to go in the first round, a running back who's going to go in the first round, and that Alabama consistently has superior talent to everybody in college football. So, Dadson, don't cite who he didn't have when he had everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, the biggest issue for me with Mac Jones' evaluation when I watch him is nothing causes Mac Jones great duress because he's got the best players on the field playing with him. And that's not Mac's fault. It just makes him harder to figure out, what's he going to look like under pressure? What's he going to look like when he has to throw off of a non-traditional, I won't call it non-traditional, but of an unconventional throwing platform? Is he going to be able to whip it from the side like Patrick Mahomes does when he's literally horizontal, hitting running backs in the face mask, and then they drop it in the Super Bowl, which is just completely and totally infuriating. I'm thinking they take Mac Jones, says Jeff Roberts. He would personally like Fields. Justin Tomaselli says Trey Lance. Stofey, Fields if they're smart. Sawyer, I think it's Mac Jones. Trey Lance for Ronnie. Are we certain they're taking Matt Jones, says Brady R. Talbot. No, I'm not certain at all. I'm not certain about anything. In fact, the only thing that I'm certain about, the only thing after all of the people that I've talked to in the last 2.5 months, after all of the people we've had on the radio show, after all of the people that we've had on the podcast, after everything, the only thing that I'm certain about is that Trevor Lawrence is going to go first overall. That's it. That's all I got. This is an incredibly complex media environment to have to sift through. And frankly, outside of telling you guys that I'm going to put money on the Titans to draft a wide receiver in the first round tomorrow, that's as far as I'm willing to go. It really is, because I think there's too much fake. I don't want to say fake news out there, but there's too many people taking advantage of how draft news crazed the cycle is to feed information to people in the media who then disperse it and create narratives that may not necessarily be true. Not fake news, but narratives that may not necessarily be true. Who do I think the 49ers are going to select with the third overall pick? What I am going to say is I really think that it's going to end up being Trey Lance. I just do. I don't know why. I don't have any inside information. I just watch Trey Lance. I understand what the lack of film is. I understand that I've seen precious little Trey Lance outside of one game. I mean, he's only played one game in the past 400 plus days. I understand that it does take a special kind of talent to just simply not throw an interception. I also understand that that he was playing against, linebackers who look like that. I mean, wouldn't even be corners in the NFL. Like, it's just a much, much different caliber of athlete. that he's facing in opposition to North Dakota State. So all of that being said, I think that Trey Lance is going to end up being the selection for the 49ers. It just simply makes too much sense. Here on A to Z Sports Primetime from the DraftKings Sportsbook Studios, promo code A2Z Sports. Who do you think they're going to select? I hope you get, Dustin says, hope you get lucky after the show. LOL. Happy anniversary. Yeah, unfortunately, it is my anniversary. Let me say this quickly because my girlfriend is an absolute stud. In fact, I don't think I have a picture to throw up there really quick, but I want to take a minute to acknowledge just how big of a badass my girlfriend Dara Epstein is, because it is draft week. It is our 2-year anniversary. I am working instead of spending time with my girlfriend on the evening of our anniversary. She's an absolute badass. She's an absolute saint. She has more patience than anybody in the world. I love her to death. It takes a lot. You guys know what a pain in the ass I am. Producer Reed, producer Adam, who's helping us out tonight. Shout out to Adam, who's also writing exceptional draft articles, by the way. Go check him out at A to Z Sports. He's writing for them for Dallas and for A to Z Sports Nashville.com. So shout out to producer Adam for filling in admirably tonight. But what I will say to you is that before we get back to the quarterback conversation, I want to give a shout out to my girlfriend Dara Epstein on our 2nd anniversary, and give you guys a little background, if you will indulge me for a second. I'll throw a picture up. I don't know what it's gonna. I just put a picture, just airdropped a picture to my laptop, so we'll see if this comes through. But this is my lovely girlfriend Dara. It is our 2-year anniversary. We are celebrating 2 years from the 2019 Nashville NFL draft, because we were hanging out, we were talking at the time, and it just got down to a point after a while. She was here for draft weekend. I was doing a million different things, and we basically we'd been talking for long enough. We're like, hey, are we going to date? Are we going to do this? Or we're just screwing around here. And so on April 28th, the final day of the NFL draft in Nashville. In fact, I think it was a Sunday. We decided that we would make it official, and it has been 2 fantastic years since. It is horrific planning by me, because to have an anniversary in the middle of the NFL draft is a disaster. I'm working constantly. I'm not around. I'm stressed. I'm miserable. I don't sleep. But we did have a little bit of time together today between the radio show and the primetime show to have dinner. To spend some time with each other, and then after at 8:45 on Saturday, we're going to go out and have a nice dinner and celebrate our anniversary then, but not now, because the draft is a nightmare. Here on A to Z Sports Primetime. So that is Dustin says, what's she seeing your ass? It's totally true. I have zero idea, none whatsoever. So shout out to Dara for being a stud. We appreciate her patience tonight. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about what the Atlanta Falcons are going to do at 4, because the draft order has the potential to be wrecked by what Kyle Shanahan thinks, or maybe doesn't think, that he's not going to do. Love Dara, says Linda. Yes, lovely to see you in here, Linda. Welcome into the show tonight. A shout out to your beautiful daughter and to your wonderful family, who has welcomed me in very, very much so. Dara and her family, incredibly cool. Happy anniversary from her mom. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate that. we thank you. Is she being held hostage? Says Mark Beach. It's totally fair. Buck, you look like a 6'7" power forward, says John Doucette. I mean, I'm 6'2", I'm 6'3". So I'm not, I'm of above average height, although unfortunately for me, I'm also getting of above average width. So I got to be careful about that. Anyway, let's move on to talk about what's happening with the Atlanta Falcons at 4. The question that I'm going to pose to you guys here on A to Z Sports Primetime from the DraftKings Sportsbook Studios, promo code A2Z Sports. Should the Falcons take at number 4 Kyle Pitts, the tight end, or quarterback Justin Fields, who is, of course, from the state of Georgia? Let me know on Facebook Live, Periscope, YouTube, and Twitch in the comment section. We would welcome your participation. Should the Falcons take Kyle Pitts or Justin Fields? Let me know in the comment section on Facebook Live, Periscope, YouTube, and Twitch. While you guys do that, I will tell you about my friends at the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. GaryAshton.com is where you go for your dream address without the stress. Gary Ashton will help you, if you are in the market to do so, sell your home for more. With all of the people who are coming in, trying to move to Nashville, because we're the fastest growing city in the country, the real estate market is nuts right now. So if you are looking to buy a home, the Ashton team can help you through what would otherwise be a stressful process. And if you're in the market to sell, plenty of people that are willing to buy your home right now. Gary and his team will help you get you the best price at GaryAshton.com. Where should the Falcons go at 4? Should they select Kyle Pitts, the tight end, who by most measurements, by damn near consensus, has the best shot of being a Hall of Famer in this class, a super freak at tight end? Or should they go with the hometown kid for all intents and purposes, a quarterback, even though they have Matt Ryan currently on the roster at age 36, I do believe? Pitts or Fields? Let me know in the comment section on Facebook Live, Periscope, YouTube, and Twitch. Let's see. The Falcons should take Pitts, says Ronnie Sneed. Oh, David Williams says, hi, Buck from Anchorage, Alaska. Hello, David. Welcome in. Me, says Jerry Lowe. They should take me. Okay, Jerry. I have faith in Art Smith doing the right thing. Kyle Pitts, says Giancarlo. Oh, by the way, I said this earlier in the show. Art Smith's going to be on my radio show next Thursday is when we are scheduled to have Arthur. So that'll be a good time. We'll talk a lot about the Titans. We'll also talk about who they ended up taking. I'm right. Because we talked about having Art before the draft. We said, no. Let's wait. Because I think it would be better to talk to Art about what they have done instead of about what they're going to do. So that'll be fun to have Coach Art on the show. It's been a while since I've gotten to talk to him. Tribe Called Quest says, Pitts, Ryan isn't that bad. Sheesh. Well, that's the thing. Like, it depends on what you think about Matt Ryan, right? Like, I think Ryan Tannehill and Matt Ryan are different players, for sure, without question. But you can do a lot of the things in the kind of offense that we know Arthur Smith likes to run with a very, very talented group of skill position players, assuming that they add Kyle Pitts to make them overwhelmingly talented. You can do a lot of good stuff with Matt Ryan. But the question becomes, Quez, because I understand what you're saying. I don't hate Matt Ryan. I don't love Matt Ryan, right? I'm just kind of like, you can do stuff with Matt Ryan. You can make it to a Super Bowl with Matt Ryan, as the Atlanta Falcons did not that long ago, probably about, 4 years ago. At this point, Matt Ryan is okay. But with Justin Fields and with where the Falcons are selecting, when's the next time that you think the Falcons are going to be able to organically, without trading up, select 4th overall in a draft that is loaded with quarterback talent if you are in the top 10? The question to me becomes, he makes a lot of sense because he's from Georgia. He would immediately be a fan favorite, but he wouldn't immediately contribute, one would imagine, unless Matt Ryan this year falls off a cliff. Terry Fontenot and Coach Art, who is the new head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, spoke about this at a press conference today. Here's what they had to say.
Well, there's a couple of things. You're always looking short-term, long-term is what you're essentially saying. We're always going to, when we roll the ball out there, our expectation is to win. And so how do you do that short-term and how do you do it long-term? And that's any player you bring in, regardless of the position. I know that's easy. It's what's driving it, whether you're talking about the quarterback position, which I assume you're alluding to, or you're talking about other position players. We're looking at all those. Anybody we want to bring in here, we want them to help us long term, and that's the investment you're making when you're picking it, especially early in the draft. So that's always in consideration. What's the plan short term? What's the plan long term? Things can change. There's a lot of variables that go into it. So we're always discussing that, Jeff.
Do you struggle with that at all or not?
I think it's a struggle. It's just part of the job. You better have a vision for now, and then you clearly need to plan for later, because there could be a lot of unintended consequences if you're only looking, if you're that short-sighted.
Kelsey Conway.
It just cracks me up to see Arthur. I don't know why it makes me laugh to see Arthur in that kind of setting, but it is funny to see him as a head coach, but well-deserved, and looking forward to talking to Coach Art next week on the radio show. Matt Ryan, Ethan Ramsey says Matt Ryan's contract is too expensive with too many years left to take a QB. Craig Plank says Kyle Pitts is a game changer. Pitts, says Brad Lipford. Ride Matty Ice. I'm with you. I would take Kyle Pitts with the fourth overall selection. Karen says, I miss Arthur. I low-key do too. Art was a good time. It was fun to talk to. Paul Allen Tame says, those two guys are winners. I think they're going to crush it. I hope so. I'm hoping for the best for Arthur and for Dean Pease. I don't know much about Terry Fontenot, but he seems to be very, very well thought of across the league. So I do hope that he has a good amount of success. They all have a good amount of success. But Kyle Pitts with Julio Jones, with Calvin Ridley, I wouldn't be upset with them if they found a way to trade back and added Najee Harris as at a running back position. But to have a skill position stacked the way that you do, Alex Alejandro says, especially if you plan on trading Julio Jones, yes, because you will be able to find wide receiver help in this draft too. Now, you won't trade Julio before the draft starts because remember, as Peter King reported, it would be after June 2nd when they can split the cap charge that they're going to have to take for Julio if they trade him over not just 2021, but over 2022 as well. So it would cost a team future draft picks, not this draft, not this upcoming draft. But yes, if you think that you can find wide receiver help, that you can get Kyle Pitts, that you can find a way for, replacing Julio Jones by committee, and that Matt Ryan is your guy to make a push, it's difficult because you play in a tough division. I don't know if Carolina got better. They traded away Teddy Bridgewater today. I don't know what to make of the New Orleans Saints because Drew Brees is obviously retired, but I know that Brady is still in Tampa Bay and that they are still the defending Super Bowl champions. And they look as good as they ever have. They brought back Antonio Brown today, something that we didn't even get to discuss on the radio show. Honestly, I just remembered that just now. Paul says Falcons offensive sucked because of their OCs. After the Super Bowl, their offense hasn't been the same. Those results are because of OCs. Ronnie Sneed says, blame Thomas Dimitroff for the Falcons' cap problems. Yes, indeed. Can they make the trade but have it effective in June, says Alex? No, it has to be made after June the 2nd, based on how the NFL financials are constructed and how Julio's contract apparently is constructed. So no, they can't make a trade before that June 2nd deadline, for lack of a better term, and then have it go into effect. It's not how it works. Let's see. I would love more Jones and Brown wide receivers with Tannehill and Henry would be sweet. Julio's not coming here. I hate to tell it to you. I hate to tell you that. Xavier Clemens says, I'm super late, but I'm here. Welcome in, Xavier. Thank you for joining us. Brad Lipford says, are the Bucs just running it back? Yeah, why wouldn't they? They bought a Super Bowl last year. Why not go buy another one? It's a great idea. I think more teams should look at it that way. I don't know what their future is going to look like after the whole thing falls apart and everybody gets old, but Brady's 40, he's going to be 44. He's still out here kicking ass. He's still out here eating avocado ice cream and drinking only avocado tequila and having a big time. Why wouldn't you go out and buy a Super Bowl if you have the ability to do so? And the Bucs have found the ability to do so. But I would draft Kyle Pitts 4th overall, even understanding that there's a lot of potential, a lot of promise in the idea for the future that Kyle Pitts could potentially help their franchise find, heights that Matt Ryan may not necessarily have been able to find. Let's move on, though. Let's put a bow on this show. Let's talk about the quarterback draft. Let's talk about what happened with Teddy Bridgewater today. Let me know in the comment section on Facebook Live, on Periscope, on YouTube, and on Twitch TV what you make of the situation with Teddy Bridgewater being traded to the Broncos. The question for you, how does the Broncos trade for Teddy Bridgewater today affect the quarterback draft, specifically the quarterback draft? Let me know in the comment section on Facebook Live, on Periscope, on YouTube, and on Twitch TV. While you guys do that, I will tell you about my friends at Brymak Mechanical. BRYMAK, that's Brymak.com. That's where you go for satisfaction guaranteed on each and every one of your HVAC needs. They will hook you up. They will get you going. They will put you in your comfort zone as the seasons begin to change. BRYMAK, Brymak.com. Look them up. How will the Broncos trade for Teddy Bridgewater affect the quarterback draft? That's what we're asking you guys here on A to Z Sports Prime Time from the DraftKings Sportsbook Studio. So right after I got off the air today, the Broncos traded a 6th-round pick for Teddy Bridgewater. It's a win for the Broncos depth chart, for their wallet, and for their draft, because it probably takes them out of the running for a quarterback at 9th overall. Let me know in the comments how you think this will be affected. I think if they can draft Fields, they should, says Sawyer. Well, they do have Drew Lock. They now have Teddy Bridgewater, and you would be drafting Justin Fields. I think that complicates things, but I understand why you feel that way. Carmen says on YouTube, Teddy is not a long-term fix for them, but does open up the draft. Titans Kyle says means Denver isn't going to take another quarterback, but Carolina very well could. Nick LeClaire says, I think it doesn't affect the draft. I think Teddy is the backup to whoever they draft, and Drew is gone. I don't know. I don't think Drew Lock will be gone, but I think Teddy's there as a backup plan. Titans for Life says it doesn't, Buck. I would disagree, because I think that it does take the Broncos out of the running. So here's what I'll say. I think it takes the Broncos out of the running for a quarterback. But first, let's hear from Ian Rappaport to get a little bit more of the details of how Teddy Touchdown ended up in Denver.
Yeah, another trade because Sam Darnold arrived first with the Jets and now with the Carolina Panthers, which not great for Teddy Bridgewater, but does have a nice new opportunity and still a really good payday for Bridgewater, this time in Denver. This is a trade I think we've known was going to happen really for some time, at least, that he was getting out of Carolina. And the reality was the Denver Broncos were really the only landing spot for Bridgewater, who now comes into a quarterback room where he can lend some of his veteran experience to Drew Lock, maybe push him a little bit for the starting job, and we'll see what happens. I don't think this takes quarterback off the table for the Denver Broncos, but certainly it does cloudy the picture a little bit. I would also add, as colleague Mike Silver reported, the Carolina Panthers are paying $7 million of Bridgewater's now $10 million salary, so he takes a pay cut down to what was his guaranteed salary. Still makes $10 million in 2021. So for Teddy Bridgewater, yeah, you got traded, but you still made a lot of money on it.
I like how Rapshi put it. Yeah, you got traded, but at least you made the bag. At least you secured the bag. That's what it's all about. Puka says Teddy seen as insurance. Antoine Bullitt says Carolina 8 is going to be coveted if Atlanta passes on drafting a QB. I would say that's so. How does he throw with gloves on, says Sawyer? I mean, Brady's been doing it. Manning did it at the end, like Marcus Mariota had to do it when he lost feeling in his, I think it was his pinky and his ring finger on his throwing hand when he suffered that nerve injury. So it can help you with grip if you suffer from grip issues. Titans for Life says, I think it was made only if the Broncos quarterback that they want doesn't fall to them. He's a just in case. Well, I think that's complicated, though, don't you? I mean, the idea that you would have a former Drew Lock was a first-round pick, if I remember correctly. Maybe producer Adam. We put producer Reed on the spot all the time, but Adam at Bolt Holt, by the way, is where you could follow producer Adam, who is filling in admirably for producer Reed tonight. Adam, if you could find out for me where Drew Lock was selected, and if you want to chime in the Periscope chat or the Facebook chat or the YouTube chat or the Twitch chat, you can do so, and I will be able to pick it up. Okay, Ronnie Sneen just beat you to it. He says that Drew Lock was a second rounder. All right, see, producer Adam, you got to step your game up. Reed would have been way ahead of it. I know I'm putting you on the spot, bud, but this is the big time, right? No, I'm teasing. Adam does a great job. But a second rounder for Drew Lock. So, second round quarterbacks, they're I don't want to say it seems obvious to say that they have less of a hit percentage than first-round quarterbacks, right? That seems like dumb analysis. But, when you look at Derek Carr, when you look at Drew Lock, when you look at some of the quarterbacks that have been taken in the second round over the years, it just seems like the talent drop off from the guys who go at the top spots for the teams that need quarterbacks. Not even those guys don't work out all the time, but that you do have a better chance at making them succeed. Now, I think that Drew Lock is salvageable. I think that Drew Lock is somebody 42nd overall to be specific. See, there is Adam Holt redeeming himself. Bolt_Holt is where you can follow him. Forgive me for not getting the Twitter account correct. So you do have a situation where you have a former second round pick at quarterback. You have Teddy, who was a first round pick. And also the new GM in Denver, because of course it's not Elway anymore. The new GM in Denver has experience with Teddy from their time together in Minnesota. So that's important. But I think that to complicate things with another first round pick at quarterback in that room and say Teddy's there just in case and Drew Lock is there as what? He's just not going to make the roster. I think that would be nuts. No more excuses for the Braves, man. Oh, did the Braves win? I haven't had the baseball game on tonight, but it does appear I will find out really quickly if the Braves did in fact win. But I do not have the notification, so I will keep it moving here on A to Z Sports Primetime. Maybe somebody could tell me if the Braves won. Justin Fields may fall out of the top 10, though. That's where I'm thinking that this may have an effect. I don't think necessarily that it's going to affect. I think there's a chance that Justin Fields could fall out of the top 10 anyway, which is crazy to me. But I do think that it takes Denver slightly out of the running, even though most of you would say it is, or most of you would say that you're in disagreement with me. Puka says post out right now, Denver post out right now, saying they will draft Fields and cut Lock. Okay, so that is good information to have. That will make 10-0 in the 7th in favor of the Braves. The Braves are up 10-0. There's no way. I don't believe that. The Braves have sucked all year. They haven't been able to score, although they've looked a lot better against the Cubs. There's no way they're up 10-0 in the 7th. You got to be kidding me. But if I haven't seen that Denver Post article, thank you for bringing that to my attention, Puka. It does make a difference for certain with the quarterback draft. Because as Coach Mack says all the time, and Coach Mack will be on the radio show on Friday, there's the draft and then there's the quarterback draft. We've had a lot of fun. Tomorrow is going to be so much more fun. I mean, we had a great time tonight. We always have a good time. But tomorrow with Austin Stanley, Zach Bingham, myself, we'll be a part of the A to Z draft show. You guys will enjoy that. We'll enjoy that. We'll finally have a draft pick to talk about. But before that, if you are in Middle Tennessee, if you're in Nashville, Franklin, Brentwood, Antioch, Bellevue, wherever, if you're anywhere in the surrounding area in Middle Tennessee, and you're not doing anything from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. tomorrow, come hang out with me and Will Compton, Austin and Zach, Braden Gall, Jack Gentry, a bunch of my friends, because I'm going to be doing the radio show live at Tin Roof on Demumbrian, right across the street from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. Come hang out. We'll drink together after I get done with the radio show, because I'm basically going to stay in Tin Roof and just work from there and do my pre-draft preparations. But also, if you don't come to Tin Roof, that's okay. Maybe I'll forgive you. Maybe I won't. We'll see. I would like to see a bunch of you there. But I understand that 10 a.m. on a Thursday is not terribly convenient for you. But I know a lot of you work from home now. So come bring your work to Tin Roof, just like I will. But also, what is going to happen tomorrow is I just got an email. And this is something that I just got an email from the Tennessee Titans, because I am going to be helping with their virtual draft party. I am going to be involved with their virtual draft party. So I don't know how many of you in here are Titan season ticket holders, but if you are, you will see me as a part of the Titans virtual draft party with Eddie George, with Mike Keith, and that'll be a good time. So I look forward to seeing you guys there, if not at Tin Roof, and then tomorrow night on the A to Z Sports Draft Show with Austin, with Zach, and myself. We'll have a great time, and we'll have a great time on the radio show. We'll have a great time at Tin Roof. We'll have a great time on the draft show, and I'll have a great time in the Titans virtual draft party as well. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much for your participation. One more sleep, and then it's draft night. Craig Plank says, here's what I'll say, because Craig Plank says before I wrap up, before I tell you that I'm not tired yet, because I would be lying to you. I'm exhausted. I'm so tired. Draft week kills me, but it's a lot of fun. So Craig Plank says, Bucks buying lunch for us all. If you show up to Tin Roof on Demumbrian, I will buy you lunch. I will buy you a beer or a beverage of your choosing. Your drink, your first drink, will be on me if you show up to Tin Roof on Demumbrian tomorrow at some point between the hours of 10 and 1. 100% drinks on Buck. We'll take a pipe bomb together. We'll have a big time. One more sleep, and we'll do it with great energy. We'll do it with great effort, and we will do it with probably a good amount of alcohol involved too, because I tell you what, the pre-draft is over. The draft is tomorrow, and damn it, I'm not tired yet. Let's go. No!